Hello, good night viewers. Back again with me, Linda Kusmawati on the night news. This time we will discuss the news entitled COVID. Why are so many people getting it again? In the early day of the pandemic, it was extremely rare to hear of people getting COVID twice. The Omicron variant, which first emerged in the late November 2021, has changed that. Why are more people getting COVID again? Part of it is Omicron itself is better at sneaking past difference both on exposure to old and different variant. It's also probably a number game, so many of us have already been infected at some point. That's a rising proportion of a new infection or a second occurrence. But getting COVID twice in the short space of time is still pretty unlikely despite the prevalence of the latest version of Omicron. And for most people, a second infection is less likely to make them very ill. How likely are you to catch COVID twice? Eventually, pretty likely immunity fights a virus evolves. Most people can expect to catch the other coronavirus, SARS, as thoughts which cause common colds sometimes many times. Early in the pandemic, that did not seem to be the case with COVID, where the 1% of all cases recorded in the UK before November 2021 were reinfection. But Omicron different structure gave it a better chance of sneaking past the very early difference, which were based on exposure to previous COVID strains. So, the rates of reinfection have been about 10 times higher this year compared with rates say early in the pandemic. How is the new version of Omicron different? This is the new spring Omicron, known as BA2, drove a UK infection back up to record levels. The Office for National Statistics says about 1 in 13 people in the UK had COVID in the week ending 2 April, although this had dropped to about 1 in 15 by the week ending 9 April. This had fallen again to about 1 in 17 by the week ending 16 April. Spring Omicron is similar too, but even more infection than Christmas Omicron or BA1. If you've had COVID in the past few months and likely to have been a version of Omicron, which in strong shot give you good protection against a second bout. The data we have so far suggests that second Omicron infection is rare but can occur. More reinfections have been seen among younger people and those who have not been vaccinated. About 4.5 million people have had a COVID booster dose since the start of the year, with other 2 million getting their second dose. And tens of millions of us have protection for a recent infection. About 1 in 13 of caught COVID during the first Omicron wave. Laboratory students suggest that a combination of having had Omicron and being vaccinated could leave your body even better prepared to fight off a new infection than one infection alone. How soon could I get COVID again? It is been reported that a woman in Spain was infected twice, 3 weeks apart. The 31-year-old healthcare worker started experiencing the new symptoms, and genetic analysis of her positive test showed that she had been infected by 2 different viruses, Delta in late December followed by Omicron early January. It's hard to get good data on how often really early reinfection happen. The vast majority of second positive tests within that little times are long-lasting infection rather than second infection. So scientists do not normally ask genetic analysis to hand for reinfection that early. It would cost a lot and mainly so the people still hand in rather than hand it again. Studies since the one that cite double Omicron infection are rare. Typical start the clock ticking after 3 or 5 weeks. Will the latest Omicron variant make me sicker? So far, it seems that BA2 is no more likely to put you in hospital than BA1. And even if you do test positive again, that is not the same as being sick with COVID-19. According to immunologist Prof. Eleanor Raleigh, it just means there is virus in your nose and throat. The protection provided by vaccination or having had a previous infection is better at stopping the virus from getting in your body and doing serious damage than it is at keeping the virus out of your nose and throat. Prof really think if you test positive again but feel well, your main concern should be whether you make pass in on someone who is particularly vulnerable. An infection can still land some people in hospital, particularly those with weakened immune system and really health condition. But despite the high number of COVID infections, the current wave is putting with people in hospital that we saw in January. Precisely because so many of us now have a combination of protection for vaccination and previous infection. During January peak, about 55% of people in COVID beds in English hospital were being treated for their COVID. The most recent figure for 5 April saw the figure is down below 5%, and the total number of people in hospital with COVID roughly had a what we saw in January 2021. The government hopes the spring booster vaccine rollout will help to up immunization for the most vulnerable and make it even harder for Omicron to cause strange illness, whether in triggers once or twice. So the news may be useful for the viewers. Good night.